Maganda Omaga po. Good morning, my dear brothers and sisters. Today we reflect on the encounter between Jesus and the rich young man. I look at the openness and the courage with which this young man came to Jesus, asking for what he must do to inherit eternal life. It is a question that many of our young persons, including me, we don't usually ask this question anymore. We are so much engrossed in materialism and all kinds of mundane frivolities that we forget that material things can only give us pleasure. It can never give us true happiness, which this man was, seeking for. Of course, we know that every human person is a composite being. We have body and spirit. Our body may die, may be cremated, pero our spirit, our soul is immortal. It does not die. So we have to ask this same question: what must I do to inherit eternal life? There are two important things we notice from the response of Jesus. Number one is that Jesus made God the center of everything, because Jesus said to him, there's only one person who is good, and that is God. So Jesus wants us to always remember that God must be the center of our lives. Secondly, in Jesus' mentioning of few commandments, let us take note that those commandments, even though they were via negativa, they were basically anchored on relationships. This is why I always say to myself that if I die as a priest, God is not going to ask me how many masses I celebrated or how many rosaries I prayed. Pero God is going to ask me, how did these masses I celebrated, how did the rosaries I prayed, how did they influence my relationship with the people around me? And that's what brings us to the difference between desire and decision. This young man had a desire to, have eternal life, pero he did not have the decision to embrace what it takes to have that eternal life. This is the problem that most of us have today, especially young persons. We want good relationships. We desire to have a very beautiful family, pero we are not ready to make the sacrifice. We are not ready to detach ourselves. We are not ready to let go. And that is why we keep on living in the past. If someone desires good relationship, the person must detach himself or herself from certain attitude, habits, or character. If someone desires a happy life, the person must detach himself or herself from certain ways of living. So this is the sacrifice which this rich young man was unable to make. If we want to be successful in life, if we want to be happy in life, it's a desire. But things do not come through desire. We have to make some effort. Jesus is inviting all of us to come and follow him, to become his friends. Pero there's one basic thing we must do, and that is to embrace detachment, renouncement, to abandon our old ways of life. As you go out today, I pray for you that Jesus may encounter you, to enlighten you, to give you the grace to know that happiness does not come from material things, pero happiness comes through relationship we have with Jesus, and good relationship that we have with one another. And remember that you are blessed to bless.